Hi, my name is John Koenig, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to do the proper golf swing. So the first question to ask is, why is golf important? Once you get past the typical stereotype that golf is an old man's game, it becomes really fun. It's intriguing, challenging, and it tests your character under pressure. Another reason golf is great is because most business deals happen out of the conference room and on the golf course. A lot of us here are becoming business majors and want to get into starting your own businesses, working for a bank, but in the end, most of us are going to businesses that require deal making, and it's really important you know the basics of golf. I started my golf career when I started working at a country club when I was 16. I was a waiter, but I would always see a lot of people go onto the course with their clients, come off drinking, eating, laughing, and having a good time. I can't even imagine how many deals have been made on that golf course. So it's important that we as future business people learn the basics of golf. I've been golfing for almost 2 years now, and I can say it's been one of the best experiences of my life. It's really fun, and I try to go out as much as possible. It wouldn't hurt for anyone here to try. So the first club that's extremely important in golf is the driver. The driver is the longest hitting club, and it's very important that you don't mess up with this initial one because it can ruin a hole. So when you're lining up with the driver, or just for any club, it's important that you begin with about 80% of your weight on your leading side, and about 20% on the right side, on your other side. For the driver in particular, you want to keep you want to line it up between the center of your thigh and your groin. As for your arms, with any club, you should keep your non-dominant hand completely straight, and you should have your other arm following it instead of being really tight. Your grip, you should have a really tight left grip and a loose right one. Your left hand, your non-dominant hand, should be placed on it so that your thumb is pointing up and you're kind of giving it like a okay sign, and your right hand should just gently wrap around it. When you're coming up, as with any club, well, with the driver, you want to keep coming up with the club head down to prevent a spiral. And then, before we talk about 80% weight on your non-dominant, your leading leg, and then 20% on your non-leading leg, you want to shift that so it's 80% on your back leg and 20% on your left leg. And as you come down, you want it to shift again so that your full force is swinging through like a pendulum. So you take it back until you're here, about parallel with your shoulders, and you shift back, keeping your left arm completely straight, which is really important. You swing and follow through, and you should end up naturally in that notorious golf position. So with the driver, don't forget that one of the most important parts is positioning it right and transferring all your force into the ball. The next club we have are the irons. There's a lot of different clubs in golf, but easily the most important ones are the irons, and they all swing the same way. So you're going to bend your knees, do the same grip as the driver, but you're going to line the ball up, splitting you in the center. And it's the same thing, knees bent, back as straight as possible. Your arms are the same as the driver. Take it back, swing, and you're in the same position. That's with any iron. They all shoot different ranges, but that's up for you to test at the golf range. And what's universally important about all golf clubs is that you should be keeping your knees straight at all times, and you should always be looking at the ball with your head down. Imagine there's like like a little piece of steel keeping your head and like the base of your neck like stiff as you do all this. Keep your eye on the ball, swing through, and you shouldn't be standing up or lifting your head. It should all be natural. Back, swing, should end up in that notorious position with your heel up, your toes pointing forward, your back toe pointing forward. So with the irons, that technique is universally true, but you know, sometimes you mess up, you don't get it in the right place, you don't get the ball in the right place, and you land in the sand pit. There's a special club for the sand pit called the sand wedge, and what's really important to know is that when you're in the sand wedge, you don't get any practice swings. You have to hit it the first try. That's just the rules. So when you're in the sand pit, you want to put all of your weight on that leading foot, and it should be like 95% weight on your leading, 5% on your back. Just transfer it a little. But the thing about it is when you're in the sand pit, you have to hit that ball as hard as you can in order to get it out of the sand pit. And you have no practice swing, so you have to be right the first time. All the other technique is true, but you gotta hit it as hard as you can out of the sand pit. The next club I want to talk about is the putter. So the putter is totally different than all the other clubs. This one, you want to have your legs slightly bent. You want to have the same grip. You have to also you have to get somewhat close to the ball, about a foot between your feet and the ball. And what's special about the putter is that you're not necessarily hitting the ball, you're tapping it into the hole when you're on the green. So with that said, you have to rotate your shoulders like a pendulum and tap the ball in. So let me get back a little bit more. Imagine you're hitting the ball in the green. You shift your shoulders back a little bit more, and you tap it in. This takes a lot of work. It's really hard to perfect your short game, but the most important part is that this movement comes from strictly your shoulders, nothing else. And it depends on the course, on how high the grass is or how low the grass is, but you should always be practicing with this. This is something all of us need to constantly improve on. So those are just the most basic clubs in golf. Those are the ones you're going to run into the most often. There's too many hybrid clubs and special clubs to go over, but those three or four types of clubs are strictly any basic golfer's necessities. So if you'd like to continue your golf career, start it. I'd highly recommend just getting a set, renting a set, and going to the nearest driving range. And you'll really get a feel for what you like, what you don't like, what works for you and what doesn't. Everyone needs help, so my best recommendation would go to that golf range's pro. Pros are the people that you pay X amount of dollars for a session, maybe half an hour, and they help you get into the game, perfect your game, and anything else you need help with. I'd also recommend reading a bunch of magazines, watching a bunch of YouTube channels, and just watching the pros do it. That's how I got my technique down. That's how I'm continuously improving. And once you feel ready, the best option for you is to go on a real course. Once you're on the real course, it's completely different. There's more stress, there's more of a time limit, and it really shows the real level at which you're at. So to sum up, golfing is a great sport. I told you my story, how getting into it. Maybe you have a different one that's really great. I told you how to swing them, and I just mentioned how you can further interest your career. Thank you so much. I hope you love golf.